G'day YouTube, warbles on a lot here. Just had a swamp wallaby come up and talk to me. And once you feed the swamp wallaby, the birds are going to show up and they're going to want to be fed as well. But anyway, those of you who've been paying attention to my channel will no doubt recall that last week I went on a bit of a buying spree, and one of the toys I bought was a shiny new replacement high-tech knife, because I've had this one since I was 6 and it's on its third sheath, and it would be its third handle too, maybe its second. I know it went through a bit of a fire in the tent once and the old handle got cracked, and I think I bound it up with tape, and then eventually I decided to make this one in honey locust, and it's a good strong knife. The blade isn't tempered steel anymore because some idiotic 13-year-old got to it on a bench grinder and blew the steel and took away all of its temper. So yeah, I thought, why not get a new knife? And then on reflection, it occurred to me that whereas the steel tang of the Bowie knife goes all the way to the back end, because this is a survival knife and it's got a canister that comes down to here, there can really only be about this much attaching the blade to the handle. So whereas I have chopped saplings and logs and pieces off tree roots with the Bowie knife, as well as amputated the feet of goats and sheep while I was dressing carcasses, skinned foxes, and it's too big for rabbits. But it's actually a knife you can work with. I'm not sure I'd want to go chopping firewood with it in a camping situation. And to be honest, I pretty much bought it for the gimmick of it being not only a big shiny new knife, but one that's allegedly designed, and it's definitely branded as a survival knife, in this case supposedly a jungle survivor knife. And according to the branding, it's also Rostfrei, which is German for stainless, and it has it in English as well. So in theory, it's a stainless steel blade. And of course, apart from the big fish and little fish scaler and the bread knife on the back of the blade, it also features a watertight screw-off cap on the end of the handle, which has quite a nice little compass. It's not fluid damped, but it seems to be pretty accurate, and at least it's manufactured so that the red end of the needle points north. And inside the threaded handle resides a little plastic container, inside of which was a little package containing 2 sewing needles, 3 very small lead fishing sinkers. They're not split shot, but they are small lead fishing sinkers, and 6 fish hooks. Well, for a vegetarian, that's not much use, so we'll take that and throw it away. And instead we will become inspired by this little plastic matchbox with a striker there, and it's got a selection of long burning waterproof matches and standard safety matches with a wax coating, so they're also waterproof. So they'd be more useful to a vegetarian than fish hooks. Therefore, thus and because, we have 4 ordinary matches and 2 long burning ones. And that other thing you can see in there is what they call a folding survival saw. Now it's supposed to be a braided cable, but this one's a single strand and it's got a spiral edge going around it, and it's bent pretty tight. And the idea is those washers fixed to the end of it go through these little bent chromed handles, and then you put this on the other side of a piece of wood, and then you pull really hard on the ends of it after carefully unwinding it, making sure you don't kink it. And if you get any more than about that much bend in your wire going over the bit of wood, then the repeated bending is going to break that, So you would want to be really, 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 really strong in order to be able to pull hard enough on the ends to keep it tight enough to actually cut through anything but a very small piece of balsa wood. However, it can go in there for the fun of being there. Half a dozen matches will fit around it, but you have to put the saw in first and then play Tetris kind of thing. Now the space on the other side there, I'm going to put some sewing needles into that space, and then here on the flat sides, what's going to happen is some scraper paper from a conventional matchbox will be glued on place, and then as much nylon twine kite string as will fit will be duly wound around the outside of the container where there is already a gap, and ideally I'll fit sufficient cordage in there that it will no longer make rattling noises as it bounces around inside the handle. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is to wonder about this idea of it being in fact genuine stainless steel. There we have a compass placed between the floorboards. Here we have a Bowie knife, which I am going to introduce near the compass after zooming in so you can see what the compass is going to do to the Bowie knife. See the magnetic field of the Bowie knife playing silly buggers with the compass. Right, magnetic field of a Bowie knife. Interesting. This is a fearsomely, wickedly razor-sharp guillotine which was thrown out because it had a few little tiny flecks and dings and nicks on its edge. So we bring it right. It's got quite a strong magnetic field, hasn't it? Okay. Now, for comparison, this is a bit of stainless steel. I won't say it's got no magnetic field, but it's bugger all. 3 parts of 2/10 of sweet fanny atoms, as they say, when being polite. Now, let us take the Rostfrei stainless knife and we bring it what's going on here is apparently every time the grinder went through the knife, it's changed the magnetic field of the knife blade where the grinder went. Right, so that shows how deep the steel, obviously it's steel, it can't possibly be stainless steel. Up Mr. B's dick. How's that? Come around the other side. Maybe I can push that through without affecting the light. So yeah, it is definitely not a stainless steel knife blade. And I don't see how it can possibly be strong enough in that much to be used as a kind of a knife chopping jungle survivor knife. So the Chinesium marketing jism is strong on this one, Kimosabi. Just for the fun of it, here's a different compass, and this one, through a manufacturing defect in the Chinesium, it's the red end which points south, not north. Now we move it past those little bread knife grindings, and that has locally reversed the field of the knife just in that one spot. Coming around the point, everything goes kind of crack-a-dog. So I think it's a piece of mild steel, and I think it's probably been electro-plated with chromium or something. I really don't know. Forgive that little lapse in the framing. I was looking at the compass down beside the knife. So, absolutely not stainless steel. And its magnetic response is a lot closer to tool steel than it is to whatever, well, Solingen dropped forward steel from Germany in the 1960s. So, considering that it turns out I have not actually ever yet replaced a large knife which came in a box labelled sports cutlery, which I gave to my daughter when she turned 21 and she lost in her round Australia holiday, what's going to happen is that this jungle survivor knife is going to become my darling Dottar child's birthday present after I have duly rendered the inside capsule fit for a vegetarian by replacing its fish hooks and sinkers and fishing line with sewing needles and thread and safety matches that are waterproof. So there you go. And now you know. It's just another typical long-winded warbles on a lot review and analysis. Hopefully you might have even enjoyed it. Ciao. And of course the eagle-eyed amongst you will notice that I have actually got a different swamp wallaby supervising the end of the video. Life's like that, isn't it, Felix? Ciao. As well, of course, as a supervising committee of troughs in the middle of the day. Have a good one.